So one of the questions I have with critical reading is how to read how to approach an SAT critical reading essay. One of the things is to do pre-reading. So just as before, it's always good to look at something before you buy it. You look at your critical reading passage and then you answer the questions. So for example, you take a look at the blurb. This is going to tell you more about who, what, where, and when. Think of it as the outside of a target. You're trying to focus for the inside target. Knowing where you're going to shoot your arrow is going to be really important. After that, you need to do pre-reading. And when we're taking a look at pre-reading, we're looking at proper nouns. We're looking at numeric information. Because numeric information often tells us what the delta is, what the change is, what progress is. You take a look at definitions, and a lot of times just looking at punctuation, seeing the colons, seeing quotations, how are they being used, will give us more information about what's being defined, what's important in this essay, and how we should respond to it. Finally, we take a look at lists, how people are delivering their details very quickly. Then we're going to go think of the target again. We've looked at the blurb. We're looking at our pre-reading. Now we're going to look at the questions. And we're looking at the questions not just to mark up the passage, but we're looking to see what kind of questions are being asked. We're looking to see what kind of inference questions they are. Are there questions in there about structure? Are there questions in there about argumentation? Now that you've basically previewed the essay critical reading passage, you kind of know now what to look for, so you can read much more effectively and basically be prepared to receive that information. And then finally, you answer the questions and use the process elimination. Easy to say, but to practice, a lot of people sit there and they say, oh, I know what to do, and they simply read the passage. If you simply read the passage and answer the questions, you're basically reading under stress, and you're reading in a non-structured way. Using structure to help you answer the questions in a systematic way will bring you a better results. Not only are you using this for SAT, you're also using this for your homework. So I don't know about you, but sometimes when you have that AP US History book in front of you, and you start reading and you fall asleep face down to the book. I'm sure that's happened. Or your mathematics book, or your psychology book. It's important to basically preview your chapter first. What am I going to read about? What are these maps about? Basically, you've created context for yourself. You look at your reading assignment. What does the teacher actually want me to do? Then you go back and read it. And Mr. Johnson has a good trick when you read. When you read a section, you summarize before you continue on. You quickly summarize before you go on. This will keep you awake when you're reading your AP US History book, or your psychology book, or your mathematics book, or your biology book. Then, so what you learn in ShareWorld with your SAT, you can apply to your actual homework. This is how you double and triple and quadruple your money. Think of it as an investment. The tools you use here, you use in your homework and from life beyond. Let me talk a little bit about writing an essay. Writing essays are really, really important. People expect you to know how to write an essay just coming out of the womb. Of course, you have the five rubrics. You're talking about organization. You're talking about point of view. You're talking about vocabulary. You're talking about grammar, and you're talking about sentence structure. It's easy to sit down and read those word lists, but you have to know how to use the word lists. If you don't know how to use your vocabulary effectively, It's like eating a chocolate chip cookie, but there's a raisin in there. What's this word doing in here? It doesn't have good context. If you put in too many chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chips, what's going to happen? The cookie's going to fall apart. So again, you need to use context. So you're using the vocabulary correctly. And also, if you add nuts, if you add certain things, it's going to create more texture. So using that technical information. One of the things also we really practice in my writing classes is finding the best examples for you. So if you don't like your English class, should you be writing about using Romeo and Juliet? No, I just read Romeo and Juliet. I don't know anything about it. I'm just telling you what my teacher just told me. Maybe you should be writing about something that you're interested in. Like, for instance, maybe you should be writing more about, if you're interested in programming, talk about programming. If you're a musician, talk about musician. But just talking about random things is not enough. You have to basically connect it to your essay prompt. So looking at the essay prompt, creating the introduction, giving us 3 examples, writing with concrete detail, using the appropriate technical vocabulary and the appropriate SAT words, bringing it together, varying your sentence structures, and giving us good grammar is going to be really important. Not only are you going to be able to use your essay skills for your SAT essay, but you can use it for your FRQs and your DBQs for US history. You can use it for your college application essays. You can use it when you go to college, when everybody's panicking, you're able to deliver a paper in a timely fashion. And most importantly, when you go out into the business world, the person who can write, the person who can articulate the information or the data is the person who owns the data, the person who's associated with the data. So many scientists are able to create the data, but then they have to hand off the writing of the paper. The person who writes the paper, that name is first. The person who did the work, they come second, third, fourth. Oh my gosh, you're being basically, somebody else is taking credit for your work. You don't want that. You want to be able to articulate your own experience, whether it's an SAT essay, it's an AP US history writing sample, it's a college application essay, it's a timed in-class essay for college or for your own work experience. You need to articulate your own you need to articulate. Sorry, I can't talk. You need to articulate your own experience. Thank you very much.